I'd like to say a few things today. First, on command accountability. My one point of disagreement with the Brereton report is on how far it reaches up the chain in assigning responsibility. I believe that our troops were let down by a lack of moral courage that went up the chain of command all the way to Canberra, including in this House. I want to be clear. Those who are alleged to have shed innocent blood are alone responsible for that. I do not say this to absolve or condemn anyone, but those in the chain of command who saw the post-mission slide decks with the kill counts and pictures of dead individuals had an obligation to ask questions. From Tarankot to Kabul, to Kandahar, to Dubai, to Canberra. Those in the chain of command should have asked more questions. Some may well have done that. But an earlier intervention by our political and strategic leadership may have avoided much of the pain that people have experienced in Afghanistan and through this lengthy process. Leadership matters is my point, and it starts with a realistic appreciation of the nature of war, and I'm glad that the Chief of Army understands this and is leading our troops with this reality in focus. Trust needs to be rebuilt both up and down the chain. It is the foundation of the sacred compact between the Army and the Australian people and our government. It was broken and needs to be restored, and the Chief of Army has made this clear. Trust also needs to be rebuilt down the chain. There were many contradictions in Australian policy that our troops had to reconcile on the ground in Afghanistan, often in morally ambiguous and demanding situations, and I say this with direct experience. It was not easy partnering with an Afghan warlord and his personal band of warriors. We did not have aligned values or a moral framework that we shared, but we had to make our policy objectives work as best as we could. That had a moral impact on people at the tip of the spear. It was not easy planning combat missions, where we had to make choices about whether we took our medic or EODs on the job because of partner ratios that were imposed upon us from policymakers. It meant that when we were determining who came on the helicopter, I had to drop off essential people in order to meet the policy objectives from our government. We assumed the operational risk and we made it work. But it is a reminder that war is not clean, nor is it coherent, even though it might look that way in Canberra from this House or over at Russell. Again, I want to make clear that none of this context absolves those facing allegations of grievous misconduct. Those allegations will be tested by the Office of the Special Investigator and in our courts. But we must restore trust with our fighting men and women by ensuring that we do better the next time we go to war, by staying engaged, by asking the right questions, adjusting our policy and strategy as required. We owe that to those who are willing to risk their life defending the nation.